first game I'm going to talk about, which is often considered one of the worst games in its franchise, and that is Zelda II, The Adventure of Link, which I am a staunch supporter of. I am a diehard defender of this game because I think so many people look at it as the black sheep of the Zelda franchise. But really, if you go back, it's a pretty bold experiment for Nintendo at the time. Because you have the top-down Legend of Zelda, which was a huge game. And then I really think actually they were looking and thinking, saying, how do we improve this? Like, what is going to be like the future of gaming? You take that formula and then it's like, okay, now you can have more, in a way, it's a more realistic game than Zelda 1. Because it's like,
Open
now
world.
you see it. You see a bigger sprite, right? And you get it like the combat is way more advanced than Zelda 1.
I love that game, honestly. I'm not one of the haters on 2. I think it's a great game. It gave us Dark Link. It gave us like incredible action sequences with the bridges falling apart. Like when I don't think you ever saw a bridge fall behind you in a game before that game. And it's funny. Today is just full circle. Our conversation, because the Hollow Knight creators said we were inspired like deeply by Zelda 2 for Hollow Knight.
Yeah, and it's interesting that that's like the one game that's never gotten a remake or like an enhanced port or anything of the Zelda games, because technically speaking, Zelda 1 does actually have an enhanced port.
It's called Breath of the Wild.
No, for the Super Nintendo in Japan, there's the Satellaview, which was a satellite television thing, and there is a version of. I did a review of it on my YouTube channel, and you can find a ROM of it on like ROM hacks.
Oh, I have it.
Any of those. Yeah. Yep. And you can play it, and it is like an enhanced version of it. But Zelda 2 is the one that's never gotten an enhanced port. Like Link's Awakening got DX port, and then it got obviously the Switch port. Link to the Past kind of got a cleaned up translation port on the Game Boy Advance, but it's never had like a full remake, remaster, or whatever. Needs one. Yeah, I mean Zelda 2 never got that. But there's so much in it that if you really go back and look, a lot, like it laid the groundwork for so many things in the Zelda franchise. Like all the towns are later go on to be the sages in Ocarina of Time.
Right.
The like down thrust, a lot of the sword combat. I mean, it's pretty advanced for the NES. I mean, really, I mean, you have like high strikes, low strikes. It's pretty fast. Like even if you compare it to say something like Castlevania, the combat is way faster.
Very smooth.
In Zelda 2. Yeah, it is a very smooth game. I mean, does it have flaws? Yes. It definitely has flaws, most of them being translations. And
I was just gonna say localization in that game, terrible.
Not great. Not having like no idea what to do. Like there's one part where you have to find some guy in the woods, and you literally would have like I have no idea how people figured it out in the 80s. Like no way how these people.
I get the same thing with Castlevania 2. I don't know how people figured that game out without like a new translation, because that is another game that suffers from localization. I don't understand how people get through that game without a guide.
There's a lot of like, it's really crazy to think about a lot of those games before the internet where it's like translations, you'd be like stuck. Like I'll tell you a game I was stuck on for a long time, Chrono Trigger. Really? Because early in the game, when you go to the second area, when you go to the future, like the dystopian future, there's a part where it's like it's like XABY or something like that, but it's like said to you, it's not said to you as like, oh, you need to do this button combination. Right. And so I'm like, who the is Zabby or like whatever, like, and I'm like, what is he supposed to do? And it's like, oh, you're supposed to press the buttons. And so it's crazy. Like you would get stuck in games because you'd have no idea. So Zelda 2 is up there. I'm like, I'd have no idea how people figured this out. Yep. Like even Metroid 1, at least with Metroid 1.
That's tough without a map.
But a lot of it, once you kind of figure out like, oh, I can get this item, then I can go here. It's way more straightforward than Zelda 2.
Yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate they haven't done anything with it. I do love it. Tons of nostalgia, beautiful music. It is great music. Like the music from Zelda obviously was in the initial intro screen of the first one, but this one's got like its own catchy, unique sound.
I love them. I did a review for that on my YouTube channel. It's like one of my best videos ever. And I actually did some audio remixes of it, of like my own like interpretation of some of the music and stuff like that. And those have done both well. I love like the title screen. I love the title screen to Zelda 2 is so sick. Like Zelda 1 is kind of cool, but Zelda 2 is like this sword on the cliff, like
the game over screen.
I mean, it's just like the title screen, but if you game over it, well,
that initial title screen is amazing. But it has like one of the most sinister game over screens of all time too.
Oh,
Isn't it just like Ganon? Like it's
laughing.
so sick.
Yeah. So you have that going for it too. Actually, the Japanese version is kind of interesting if on the Famicom Disk System of all things, because it has its better music. It's more enhanced music, so you can go listen to that. And there's like a few extra, little bit of musical orientation in there, with kind of cool. So I hope that Nintendo would release that version at some point. But I will say, I also think that this is a game that is so much more accessible and it's easier to play today, just because like if you're playing on the Switch Online version or most emulators, you can rewind. And so I think it just makes it so much more forgiving, because there are definitely a lot of like totally cheap NES deaths where it's like you just get boom hit by something and knocked into the water, which is super annoying. And in this game, you basically just get all the way sent back to like the first castle. So then you got to march all the way through, and do it. Even though there's like a save feature, it does get a little annoying.
Yeah, it's iconic. I'm with you though. I'm not one of those haters. I do love it.